Welcome to Gazali. Today, we are going to talk to one of the most iconic Goan. A Goan who is responsible for putting smile on our faces. A Goan who is responsible for making us laugh for the last 50 years. A Goan who is responsible for making us aware of what was happening around us. A Goan who was responsible for making us aware what the politicians were all up to. An artist, a nature lover, a whistler, a whistleblower, an activist, a musician, a singer, a composer on his own right. One of the most celebrated cartoonists, the one and only Alexyz.
Thank you.
Welcome to Gazali, Patrao. Ha ha!
Korea Gazali aata. Chalo.
Woi.
Sang.
So I've been knowing you for last more than 20 years, but I never knew what were you as a child. So tell me something about your childhood and the influences that you had, which probably was seen through your work.
Okay, I was born and bred in Wadia Hospital in Bombay. Okay, and I went to a school called Dr. Antonio da Silva High School. In that Dr. Antonio da Silva High School, there was a drawing room, what we call an art room, which was only for drawing.
All right.
And we had an art teacher, I still remember him, 60, 70 years later, Mr. John De Silva. And he was the guy who got me interested in art and drawing. And that, though I was really interested in football at that time, but the art stayed in me. And when I had a problem, because I was a very good footballer,
Fantastic.
very good.
Okay.
And if I wanted to be anything, was not a cartoonist,
Super the footballer.
but I wanted to be a footballer like Mr. Pele. Yeah, when I was selected for Bombay Junior Trials.
Really? That's fantastic.
Yeah, that nobody knows about me that I wanted to be
Become football, even I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me something, how all this began, how the cartooning began. How did your journey as a cartoonist begin?
See, when I came, drawing is something that I always liked. But football was my first love actually, and then when I couldn't play football because at that Bombay Junior Trials, I was kicked on my leg, on my knee actually, and ever since then I was suffering from pneumonia. But then I was looking for alternatives, and but what changed my life was going to St. Xavier's College in Bombay.
Bombay, okay.
And in Bombay, in St. Xavier's College, I went all over India. I went to a lot of camps, drought camps, earthquake areas, and I met tribals in the middle of nowhere, where the tribals thought that the British was still ruling India.
Really?
In the interiors of India, and this created a lot of awareness in me of what is the India today. And then it really affected me, but I didn't know about cartooning till I decided one day, because my friends told me I was good in art and fooling around.
Okay.
And I was good in making posters. So I landed as a...
How old were you that time?
I must have been about 19, 20. Yeah. And after my graduation from Xavier's College, I did a course in advertising and public relations.
Nice.
And before I could finish my course, I got a job as a copywriter in an advertising company.
Oh, in Bombay itself?
In Bombay itself. But advertising was something that was not up to my lane actually, because in advertising you have to tell 100 lies to sell a product.
True, I know about it. True.
And that lasted only for 1 year.
Okay. Now, Alexyz, you will travel all around the world, and I know for sure that you manifested it. Okay?
Manufactured what?
Manifested.
Manifested.
Yeah. The video secret, the film secret came just 24 years back. But I know for sure that you've been using what is nowadays called as law of attraction. Okay? So please tell us your travels all around the world. And how did you travel without a penny, without having to spend anything?
I think the main reason that I was invited by the Goan diaspora.
But did you ever think that you wanted to be there I'm sure. I'm sure.
I always had a dream of traveling.
This is all started it.
Yeah, this
Right.
is
This is
yeah,
what I'm trying to get it out of you.
because if you don't have a dream, nothing happens.
Exactly.
So that was very important. But cartooning was something that, especially in Goa, was not the right place for me, because the cartooning in Goa never paid. I hardly used to get 3, 4, 5,000 rupees salary actually,
Oh.
and the peon in the offices used to get more than me. That was how editors and the management looked at cartoonists. We were not treated normal,
Okay.
We were freaks anyway, but we were not treated normal as far as.
Okay. So how did the travel take place?
So the travel, and it was my kind of work that I did that took me abroad, because the other thing that happened, the management, I mean not the management so much, the editors gave me a lot of space. I remember when I was in Herald, they used to give me 8 columns, 10 columns, especially during the language agitation. And that was where people, all not only in Goa but all over, today people still consider me working in Herald, though I've left Herald
Long back.
maybe about 30 years back, but people still talk about those cartoons, especially the Goan diaspora.
Okay.
And they found that I was doing some good work for Goa.
So they invited you
So they used to invite me here, there and everywhere.
all around the world.
Yeah.
Because I know you travel all around. I also know that. I'm sure it is manifested. I'm sure the way I know you and the way you've been using your mind power.
Exactly.
I know you.
Exactly.
Okay. Coming next is
Let me tell you
yes.
the nice thing about going to this, the places that I wanted to visit. Take for example, England. In England, I had my exhibition in the House of Commons.
I know that. I know.
And how did it happen? Keith was
Yes.
the Goan MP for
MP.
Leicester.
Yes.
Every time he used to come to Goa, and we used to have a press conference, I used to sit behind
Okay.
and I used to sketch him, like how I sketched you today.
Oh yes.
And I used to give it to him. So
Wow.
this happened about 3, 4 times.
Okay.
Then he said, Alexyz, I like your work, I like you, and you must come to England.
That's fantastic.
And that is how I had he had the exhibition in the House
That's
of Commons.
amazing. Fantastic.
And the House of Commons, I think that was one of the highlights of my
Career.
cartooning career.
Now, Alexyz, I see 2 people in your cartoons, almost every cartoon, Bappa and Zuva. You're 2 common men. Tell me about them. How did that happen? Because Bappa, now that Bappa we can't see, we can't see that Bappa anymore. But Zuva, yes, we can see Zuva. How did you get the idea of creating these 2 common men in your cartoons, Bappa and Zuva?
The important thing that I felt in Goa, we have 2 major communities, the Hindu community and the
True.
Catholic community.
That's exactly what reflects in the cartoons.
Exactly. So Zoam actually is my father.
Oh,
I put him in my cartoons. And Bappa was one gentleman from Seolim itself
okay.
that I used to see till about, he died now,
Okay.
till about 20, 30 years back, he was still alive. And he used to still wear that black coat.
Coat and dhoti.
And the dhoti
That was a common
earlier.
earlier. Even my grandfather used to wear that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the main reason I got these 2 people was to bring communal harmony between
Yes.
the Hindus and the Christians, that they are living together in harmony. And that is what they used to discuss about what is happening in Goa between the 2 of them. And they were always good friends.
Correct. And that's one thing that is reflected in your cartoons every time. Now, how would you differentiate between a cartoon and a caricature?
A caricature, see, to be a good cartoonist, you have to be a good caricaturist also.
Okay.
Because in a cartoon, normally when you draw politicians, you need to know how to caricature them. But a caricature, the difference between a cartoon says it has a meaning, it has a message. A caricature is just a representation of the person that you are caricaturing.
Okay. One thing I've always seen your work, have you ever, you always hit out to the authorities, made us aware of so many issues that was going around. Have you ever seen your work as activism? I felt it was a form of activism. What about you? Have you ever thought your work as a form of activism?
I didn't take it as a form of activism. That was just me trying to make people aware of what is happening in Goa.
Okay.
See, I am also a graduate of sociology and psychology.
Okay.
And I wanted to create, when I went for all these camps all over India, I saw the problem that people in India were having. And through my cartoons, I wanted to create social awareness. So basically, what I've done is creating social awareness of what is happening in Goa.
That's very good. Talk about the award that we got in Portugal, a special award for humor, which was, and you were selected among 56 European
Yeah,
cartoonists.
about 50, 60.
Yeah, please talk about. Please tell us
European.
about that. And how did it happen?
See, I had a little problem about cartooning in Goa. There was a time when I felt that, I had a family and I was getting 2,000 rupees salary, and I said, how can I bring up a family with just 2,000 rupees? We are simple people, my wife and I. We live a simple life. We could manage with whatever salary I was getting. And she was a teacher. And those days, teachers were not paid like how they were paid.
Okay.
Even I was a teacher for some time. That particular time in my career as a cartoonist, Fundusam Orient, the Portuguese organization,
Yeah.
and they told me that we are inviting you to have your exhibition in
Fantastic.
in Portugal.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and that was also a turning point. I said, okay, somebody recognizes what I'm doing, my good work, so I should carry on.
Okay.
And they told me to bring 100 cartoons of mine.
Wow.
And I had two exhibitions. I had one exhibition in somewhere close to Lisbon,
Okay.
and another exhibition in a place called Evora.
And which year was this, if you remember?
I can't remember dates.
More than 20 years, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, about 30 years back.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now you were not only showing your cartoons in newspapers and periodicals, you have a lot of books also. And I remember one book, How's That, on cricket. Okay, and no, you just told us that you wanted to become footballer, and you are a sports person, a sports lover. But I'm coming to the point where you have done a caricature of the Don Bradman. So please tell us about it and the appreciation you got from the Society of Don Bradman.
See,
And the lines you wrote for him on that work.
I love sports. I still love sports. Sports is still one of my loves. That I love doing sports cartoons, and I did a lot of sports cartoons for the papers in Bombay, especially Midday and the Indian Express.
Yes.
And I thought I would do something for Don Bradman, because Bradman, I felt, epitomized what a cricketer should be. It was a gentleman's game. It's
Correct.
no longer now so much. So I said I will draw. I will do. I did a research on Don Bradman. I had a lot of books on him, and I knew almost everything about Don Bradman. And this was a big poster I did. And I showed it to this guy who printed this book called How's That in Bombay, Marine Sports. And he liked my cartoon very much, and he said, we'll print it. In that cartoon, I had done his whole life in verse.
Yes, I know that. I
You
remember that.
notice, yeah. So that was something very unusual. And the funny thing, it's not funny actually, it's a very sad thing. The day I finished the cartoon on Don Bradman, next day we read that he had died.
Oh.
I don't know what is the coincidence or whether I was responsible for
Probably he was waiting for you to complete the cartoon.
Yes, I think so. And that cartoon later on, I gave it to the Don Bradman Museum in Australia, and they liked it so much. They wrote a very nice letter to me saying that your caricature on Donman is not only good, but whatever you have written about him in verse, that is even better. And today, if you go to Don Bradman Museum in New South Wales,
It's hanging there.
you will find it.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's a great honor for me.
Absolutely.
It's so good.
Now, Alex is the man we know as a cartoonist, but very few people know that you are a musician in your own right. You are a singer, you are a whistler, okay, you are a writer, you are a poet, and now you want to learn the ukulele. So, Please take us in a journey of other passions that you have other than cartooning.
See, cartooning, I took up cartooning to create social awareness. And I think maybe I didn't do a very great job, but I did a fairly good job because the cartoons I did creating social awareness created an impact, especially during the Konkani agitation, and my cartoons were even talked about in the assembly.
Oh, fantastic.
And at one time, the ruling party pulled up the editor and myself because of my cartoons in the assembly, and they said they could even send us to jail.
Oh.
Yeah, but it never happened. We challenged them.
Oh, great.
We challenged them.
Knowing you, definitely, yes.
But it never happened. So that is something, because cartooning is an occupation.
Yeah. So, what are your other passions like?
See, I won't say I'm a very vibrant person, but I enjoy life. I enjoy every minute of my life.
Yes, true.
So like today you have made my day, and Prudent Media also, I must thank them that they have come here and we are having this interview. It's such a good feeling, and I think the highlight of my day today is talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Prudent Media.
Thank you so much.
And I normally live a very
Simple life.
I would simple, yes, but a very exciting life.
That's true. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. I know that.
I have a mantra. It is called never a dull moment. And there is always happening, like in this law of attraction, there is always something happening in my life every other day, every other moment.
Absolutely.
And I make it happen because I want to make it happen.
Correct. Now let's come to the moment of your life. The young, vibrant, the young man Alexyz turned 80 last month. And you had a great cultural and musical fest at Yolanda's Art Chamber in Kalangut. When I went there, Yolanda told me, I absolutely had no idea whether it should take place or not, because the gallery was not open for the season. It was wrapped up in plastic for monsoon, and it was still raining. But this man said, "No, Yolanda, everything going to be fine. It will stop raining," and that's exactly what happened. And it was an amazing experience. So please tell us about all that, how it took place. The bringing 80th year in your life.
In the first
at Art Chamber Kalangut.
Because the reason I had it, my birthday was on the 24th of October.
Yes.
And my friend Alex Fernandes, who is a concert pianist, world famous concert pianist, and she said, I will come for your exhibition, or I'll come for your celebration if you have it earlier, because she was coming to India on the 3rd, 4th, 5th. She had a program in Bombay, and then she flew down. She said, so I made her the chief guest.
Okay.
And she performed at my exhibition. But let me tell you about what Yolanda said. Yolanda told me, don't have it in October 5th because
I know.
it is going to rain.
I know.
And I told Yolanda, you don't worry, I know how to tackle the weather.
Yes, the law of attraction.
Yeah,
there you are.
So I told her that it's not going to rain.
She told me that.
Yeah, I said it's not going to rain. You have it and you take it from me that it will not rain. And in fact, for the next 10 days, it did not rain.
I know.
During my whole...
It was a wonderful experience. It was wonderful.
It was a great thing.
Tell us, Alexyz, what makes cartoonist a cartoonist? What are the things that you require to be a cartoonist?
Okay, the simple thing is, for one thing, there are different type of cartoonists. If you want to be a socio-political cartoonist, which you take Mr. Lakshman is, Mari Miranda was not a socio-political cartoonist. He was a good illustrator. But R.K. Lakshman was a socio-political cartoonist, and I also was a socio-political cartoonist.
Not was, still is.
Is. Yeah. That is for sure.
Yeah.
And the main reason I wanted to be a cartoonist was to create social awareness. See, remember I told you that I was hardly paid any money.
True.
Not even the peon used to get more salary than me.
True.
So why did I take up cartooning?
Passion.
It was one thing, it was a passion, and I felt that I had something to contribute to the society. And that is why
So you would say that awareness is something we require to be a cartoonist.
you
One of the
require.
things.
And what created this awareness, I don't think anybody who wants to be a cartoonist could have gone through what I have gone through. I went to all the villages
Yeah, you told me that.
in India, and I saw how people were living in India, you know, the poor,
It
the
was
marginalized, the people who had no food to eat, the earthquake areas that I went to. So, yeah, tell me.
so Patrao, what advice would you give to someone who wants to become a cartoonist, or someone who wants to get into cartoonist?
Yeah, the important thing to be a cartoonist, it's not easy to be a cartoonist, depending on what type of a cartoonist you want to be. If you want to be an illustrator like Mario Miranda, that's very good. Or if you want to do something like R.K. Lakshman did, or something like that I did, for that you need this experience of moving around in the villages to be a good cartoonist. You need to read a lot. You need to read a lot of what is happening in the country, in the place where you are. And my cartoons were basically based on Goa. So I think in a small way, I won't say in a great way, in that way I created social awareness, especially during the language agitation. And I must say, together with the editor of Herald, Rajanarayan, and myself, we created that awareness to make Konkani the state language. And I must thank Herald for giving me that little push that I would have never had if it was not for the editor, and for the stance that we took that Konkani must be the state language. So that was.
So it was just great, Patrao.
Yeah. But it's not that everybody can be a cartoonist. And today, young people, then they ask me, you know, because they are happy that people know me or whatever. But when I tell them what salary I used to get, oh, they say, you know, you get 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 rupees. You're saying you cannot survive on that. So you need passion.
Okay.
Passion is the very, very important thing that you need to be a cartoonist. If you don't have passion, and if you don't have an inkling of what is happening around you, then cartooning is not for you. But today, if you are good at cartooning, there is the social media where you can put your views, you can do animations. The scope is tremendous if you are a cartoonist now. Maybe not so much of a socio-political cartoonist, because today I'm sad to say that the freedom that papers had earlier is not really available in the papers today. Today, all newspapers are owned by business houses, and business houses are very pro-establishment. They don't want to say anything against the government. So it becomes very difficult if you want to be a socio-political cartoonist like I was. It's difficult. But you can do other things if you are good in cartooning. The opportunities are tremendous. So I wish young people can take up cartooning. You can do so much with if you have that creative talent in doing cartoons. Go ahead, do it, and find your niche in life. Thank you.
Wow, it was absolutely pleasure, Patrao, talking to you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being on the program. And
Yeah. Why don't we all have a laughter session?
Why not?
Okay.
Why not?
And this is for the viewers of Prudent. I would tell everybody, wherever you are, even in your house, stand up. Come, you please stand up here.
Okay.
And do what we are doing.
Okay.
Join your hands. Take a deep breath. Go down.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is something that is not a surprise for me, because it may be a surprise for you, because this is a sketch that I did of my friend Prasad Pankar.
Wow, wonderful.
This took only, I think, 2-3 minutes.
Yes.
So it was a very fast sketch. Today is my joy and my pleasure to give my friend a caricature that I did just in how many minutes?
5
2 minutes? 3
minutes?
minutes?
2 to 5 minutes.
Yeah. And I would like to present it to him. I wish I could have put it in a frame.
I'll frame it.
But you'll do it, okay.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Badram.
Thank you.
Okay, friends, that was our friend Alexyz. It was wonderful talking to him. And you guys, please watching Prudent video. Thank you.
This program was supported by Agio All Stars Sale.
मॅडम सुगंध तर इतलो बरो येता जाणा.
थँक्यू.
टिफिना वांगडा त्यो न्यूट्रिशनाच्यो गुडयो दिवपाक विसरू नाका हा.
आता तू न्यूट्रिशनाच्यो गुळयो विसर.
कित्याक?
का या तांदळातूच सगळे न्यूट्रिशन मेळटले. पंचामृता फोर्टिफाईड राईस हातूंत आयर्न, झिंक, फॉलिक ऍसिड, व्हिटॅमिन ए, बी सारकेले 9 मिनरल्स आसात. तर हे झाले नाही निरोगी आणि सुवादिक. तर पुराय पौष्टिक आहारा खातीर
पंचामृता फोर्टिफाईड राईस
असल्यास पुरो.
पुराय पोषणा खातीर पंचामृता फोर्टिफाईड राईस. घराघरांनी पंचामृता.